Well, once more, another dark log. Good morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Because I sure as hell wasn't. Okay, so I guess this is going to be a part two on this one. It's still the 4th of December, 2025. It's Thursday, and it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time. So, I had been thinking about the old gas bag in office right now. Now, naturally, I'm looking at him as the enemy from hell, and we got to get rid of this guy, right? I've also got to look at it from a humanitarian point of view. And let me say this one here before you guys start forming your own damn opinion about me at this point, because I already know I'm a null for it. Next month I'm going to be turning 60. This guy's already going to be reached the golden age of 80, and he wants to prove to people that he's still active and he's still aware of things going on. I want to ask something of you guys. Now, we all know that this guy's a grifter, liar, cheats, even a con man. He's made it publicly known. He's made it publicly known that he's got a thing about lying to people, lying his face off people, and either we should treat him as the enemy or we're going to be treating him as the greatest thing on earth. The only thing I'm looking at him is an old fart. It should have been in a nursing home a long time ago and not taken up the political stage. He should have retired from his company and just lived a life of golf and cheat at it too. I'm still looking at him as that point. I having a hard time separating him, being human, and then there's the president. There's the president because we elected his ass in office because we fell for his charms. Or we drank his frickin' Kool-Aid and we're just as brain dead as he is. But for the rest of us who didn't do that, I looked at him as an old doddering fool, lying his ass off like he's been doing all his life. We got him in that particular viewpoint. Have we ever considered, and this is going to be a scary thing even for this Democrat here. I'm not calling myself a progressive or anything else like that. I came across those terminologies about a decade ago when I took political science back in college. But the thing is, for me to deal with this in this form of fashion, I'm dealing with it as a gerontologist. Guy's been through gerontology all his life, dealing with the old farts. Not quite sure how to deal with them. And now I'm coming to be an old fart. How the hell do I deal with that one? How do I look at it as another old fart, but another old fart, the thing is? Sounds like I'm blithering? Yeah, well, welcome to old fart. We blither. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. We're blithering like crazy, and the youth have a little bit more clarity because their brains are a little bit more neuroplastic or something like that. More flexible, able to heal itself faster and better than old farts, because when you age, you're deteriorating a great deal, one way or another. Mental status, and that's also contributed to the brain deteriorating, even though it's trying to struggle for survival. And we should be keeping our bodies in motion at this point over here so we don't deteriorate physically. But we still are. What I meant about gerontology, growing up as a kid, I dealt with an elderly aunt and a grandmother and a few other elderlies. And I'm a young kid trying to deal with this stuff. I'm trying to deal with an aunt who is grieving like crazy and it changed her life. I'm dealing with a grandmother as a teenager who's dying of stroke. I had to deal with her in the mental conditions that she had to struggle with half her brain working. Again, I'm coming across old farts in my youth, in my young adult age, passing away. Hurts like hell because I'm seeing old farts passing away, and the young farts are going to have to take over everything. And we think we know better. The elderly are supposed to be holding this kind of the stigma in their life, without it being wizened ones, or wizened ones actually, because they've been through a lot. But in their own time period, and their own experiences, but did they ever relate with us, the young generation? And then we're seeing our younger generation getting older and older, more broken down. Some of them more actively fed and being stricken down one way or another. But they're also old fart, not doing anything, and still being stricken down. Regardless of your old fart, you're being stricken down. Being reminded on a constant basis in our media all the time. How we see the old farts where you're just retiring them, and the young farts are still chomping at the bits and wanting to show themselves, improve themselves. By not listening to the old farts and the young farts that are going to be making their mistakes left and right. And then we got some of the older farts that are saying that I can lead you because I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. And that proves out he really wasn't. Just human, wanted more attention for himself because his ego was all that fragile. And maybe that was the way the guy was growing up anyway. Dealing with businesses left and right and conning people left and right, not giving them their credit or giving them what they're owed. Just wants to grip on people. It's that thing that we focus on, that thing we hate and resent the living crap out of. We're not just a dittering, dothering, blithering, blathering old fool that he turned out to be. I'm going to be turning 60 next month. I look at myself in the face. I'm not a lot wrinkled except part of my hands, arms are getting that way a little bit. Bit splotchy here and there. I haven't had the sun on my face in a long while, but when it does, I'll deal with it for a short time and then go back into my cave. But I feel it when the older generation, about 30 or 40 years older than I am, are feeling more vulnerable because they can't deal with living right now as it is. And I'm starting to understand them more and more. The more I age, I'm starting to feel how these people are feeling. I didn't think this way a long time ago as a kid, or as a teenager, or as an adult, a young adult anyway. I thought I had time on my side. That's what I always thought of. And some days, we're just not going to make it past the age of whatever we got going ahead of us. So yeah, we're dealing with this shit on a constant basis. We're dealing with growing old. And how do we deal with growing old? How do we deal with life on that term? A lot of people are trying to save up as they can and try to enjoy the older life. Me, I'm dealing with it day by day. That's all I do. Some days I deal with okay, and other days I'm not having okay. I'm dealing with the dogs doing the same damn thing. Hence the dark log right now. Because I want this dog to still be asleep and give me some hours to sleep. I can't be active and fast moving like I was a long time ago. My dog wants it. And she's grumbling at me and she's whining at me. She wants to be that way. She can't be that way. And she wants to lie on my right arm all the time and fall asleep. I want to fall asleep. I can't fall asleep. Not until she falls asleep. But this is what being an old fart is for me. Now, I can't figure it out for the old orange gas bag that keeps hiding his hand left and right, his right hand. Not to mention something wrong with his ankles due to poor venous circulation. And hope to God I don't get that kind of damn thing, but I think I am going to be getting it. And I know people would want me to go to see the medical establishment, and if I do, they're going to be saying, John, you're just getting old. Well, thank you very much for that wonderful diagnosis there, Doc. I already figured that out. So, does all the conditions telling you that I'm dying slowly or dying on schedule or something? I know I'm going to be there pretty shortly. But the thing is, I still want to live life. I still want to get something going on in my life. I'm still going through school. I like it. I like learning stuff. I'd much prefer walking on a damn campus and seeing all the youth out there and seeing the new changes scaring the crap out of me, but listening to new stuff and hopefully not falling asleep in class. That's an embarrassment right there, but it's also telling me that my own body, my own brain have their own tempo, I think. And telling me that eventually I'm not going to be able to do school any longer. That's fine. I have to live with that possibility. I have to live with the possibility that eventually I am not going to be what I thought I'm going to be, but I'm just going to be that, whatever that is. Either I'm getting around or I'm not getting around. Am I going to be laying in bed all day or am I not? But for right now, I still got the choice. I still got the mobility. I still got the brain working. At least I hope so. And these logs will have to cover that. The audio logs I do, the video logs I do are going to have to be covering my own pathway to the final one. And then after that, we'll see what happens. Maybe no way of recording my passage through the afterlife. Only through the mortal life. But here's the other thing that's got a problem here. I had to designate my junk to people. That's the thing that's going to be worrying. That's the thing that should be worrying me right now, is who gets what. Am I still in a feeble mind or am I still in an active mind that can actually figure this thing out? Because I've been coming across answers on this one, and it's like the family's not getting the shit I got. I'm sorry. If they wanted, they could have been contacting me a long time ago, but they weren't. They don't give a shit. They got their own crap. Why would they need mine? So mine goes out to the dumpster. Except for the records I've got. Any pictures or any logs or stuff like that. I'll have to donate them to some other stranger that I don't know and say, here, have fun. Here's my legacy. Deal with it. Because I sure as hell can't trust my bloodline because they haven't been dealing with me in a long time. Not for decades. And the extended family I had out there, well, I guess they're going to be in the wind as well. Because they've treated me as such. So, I got to deal with the kindness of strangers and dumping it on one particular person. And saying, here's my legacy, here's my life. Here's my family's life. Try to figure this shit out. If you remember me, then you keep the stuff you remember. But everything else, I don't know. Or I could find one unlucky cousin out there and dump the stuff on her lap. And say, enjoy. Maybe you have more of the memories and you need to talk about the story than I do. Because if you do, you're a better person than I, Gunga Din. Okay, that being said at this point,